That's for the site.
So they take photography, right?
Yeah, no, things are being recorded, you know, the site and CCTV, you need footage.
That's photography, right?
Site and CCTV, you need footage.
That's photography, right?
Yes, yes.
So...
We're not deliberately going towards people and recording. That's not what we're doing.
Oh, I didn't go towards people.
Nah, I'm just
you
saying,
come to me, brother.
I asked you what you was doing. That's why I asked you what you was doing.
You come to me. You see, bring this zoom. This zoom, I can zoom inside.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just asking you nicely. Can you please not?
Why?
Please. I'm just asking you nicely.
I know, bro. I know you're very nice.
Yeah, I'm just asking nicely if you cannot. Yeah, I'll talk in the gate now. Yeah? You don't do... What are you doing?
Oh, just take a picture of that one.
Of the car?
Yes.
No, can you not do that, please?
Just one.
No, you can't do that.
My brother.
Come on, that's his car, man. That's his privacy.
I know.
You can't be taking videos of his car.
Why?
You just please listen. That's his car. You can't be recording that.
Yeah, I'm not taking it.
I'm just asking you nicely not to do none of that, yeah? Just don't take a picture of his car or anything like that.
Brother, it's just a car.
Yeah, but still, that's his privacy.
So this is extraordinary now. We're in an extraordinary, unprecedented situation with this government, and I don't think anyone actually realises it. There's many people now coming out of businesses with this kind of attitude and approach to many people who are filming for YouTube channels, right, with the exact same attitude. This happens to be a missile production place, but even just on a normal industrial estate, there's a couple of the bloggers for Stop ULEZ, Beachcomber's channel and so forth doing it, and they're getting a similar reaction. Now, what's actually happening is that all these businesses, just use the word, these businesses are effectively telling people what to do and what not to do. They're like, when you're going around doing something, they're like, oh, we don't want you to do this. Stop doing that. They're like giving orders, even though you're not employed by them, right? And telling people what to do, right? Now, the thing is that what these businesses themselves are doing, the actual businesses, what are they doing? Well, they're making filming devices and cameras. In fact, they made the camera that this guy has got on his phone so he can film things with his phone. And they've got a reverse camera on the back to film yourself. And they're also, Google are listening in to what you're saying in your house. And they're actually, now, someone has just on one of the groups, I'll probably show you it actually. This is it here. This Mitsubishi are introducing a driver monitoring so they can film what you're doing in the car all the time. And then they want to start finding people. So these private manufacturing companies are making things so they can film you in your own private space. They've already got those, you know, digital eyes on the TV that can apparently see in houses and stuff that people aren't aware of because you can't see them as much, but they've been going for a long time. They've had those in there. I cover my camera up on my phone that's facing backwards, so that one's not the one facing back to me doesn't work. If I need to use Zoom or anything, which I hardly use, I just peel it off basically because it's kind of like one that just peels on and off quite easily. So it's like, the attitude of society now is that businesses morally and actually, you know, not just morally, but, you know, commercially, just in their actions, they do not have any reservations or question or conscience or guilt or anything about anything that they are doing. And they claim to be, is it for the law? But, you know, as far as I know, Mitsubishi is not the police. They're not a law enforcement agency, right? And neither are any other private businesses because they're private. We don't pay for them. The taxpayer pays for them. Now, if all these cameras in the cars are going to be used to prosecute us by the police, then isn't it coming out of taxpayers' money? And shouldn't we get a car for free? Shouldn't we have to buy the car? You know, this is the thing. I don't like the attitude of it. It's like this. I'm going to do like a Bandcamp track, but it's probably not going to have much music in it, but just to make a point, because, you know, really, this policy clause that a lot of these big companies are using now, which is illegal, it is, we can, you know, terminate your account for no reason or any reason or no reason. In fact, I've got accounts, like it's like a subscription. You pay for a year or whatever, and they've told me not to upload any more music. So I'm paying for it just for the music I've got on there. But it's meant to be unlimited, but it's very, very limited. It's not unlimited at all. And in fact, the releases that I'm putting are advertisements that are supposed to be supported by Standing Orders 145A3 of Parliament, because they're sharing and promoting the petitions, right? So they've got to publish them because you're subpoenaing it to get witness statements from the public and signatures for the case to Parliament. So, you know, it's like the opposite of a press ban. It's like a compelling. So pretty much essentially the same as like Royal Mail when it's used for, you know, elections and so forth. So, or the newspaper, so, or notices from the council. This is what these companies don't realise, that they're formed under a democracy. Now, the thing is that, so these companies are doing all this. It's just their attitude. Some things happen to this country through the corporate employment sector. I've never ever been employed by a big, you know, company, but they're buying a lot of the companies up now, and you've got all these policies and all these things, you know. It's very, 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 you know, Starship Enterprise, you know, number 1, number 2, and all this, you know, behaviour, which the programme kind of makes it look very amicable and agreeable and altruistic, but I don't think that it is at all. I think that it's rank and file, and they're wanting the social order to be like, maybe the social order has always had rank and file, but only really because of money, because they don't give you that money, so you can't afford to buy things. And, you know, language and etiquette, you know, you know, a lot of people have grown up being polite, particularly if they're middle class, or even a lot of working class people are very, very, very extremely polite, to be honest. There's something really, really wrong with what he's actually been doing, and I think the Prime Minister is in a complete denial of it. So the Prime Minister's making all these speeches like, oh, you know, apparently claiming that people are ripping the country apart or tearing the country apart. Well, actually what's happened is Parliament has been occupied by business people with their own interests who have claimed politeness and care of the public, but their health products have harmed everyone and put us at a detrimental incapacity, a handicap even. And they have... what happens when people get power and control is they start making more and more and more and more rules, so things go more and more and more their way. And these policies, private policies, are not the law. But yet everyone's acting as if it is the law. Yet what these companies are actually doing is they're doing the exact things that they're telling us not to do. So you weren't supposed to look at other people's private things. You weren't supposed to spy. You weren't supposed to snoop. You weren't supposed to take notes on people unless you suspected them of a crime. Now we're all being suspected of a crime 24 hours a day all the time. Now, if someone needs to film you because they're suspecting that you may commit a crime all the time or at any time, and that means that they can, but there's no evidence that you will, that means that the Prime Minister believes that he can put a camera in your car from his pal's car company, that's probably got shares in himself, for any reason or no reason. Now, there's usually a right to film if you're going to suspect a crime. But that means that you're under suspicion all the time. Now, you're only under suspicion if they believe that you are a criminal. and they're looking for criminality. That means that they're going to be looking for criminality for everyone all the time. Now, the default setting of humanity, of the social order in the 1970s, as you walk down the street, is that, you smile at people, you say hello. There's no suspicion of criminality, so you don't need to be taking notes on them and so forth. This Prime Minister seems to believe that everyone is under suspicion of criminality now, so they all have to be filmed all the time. Now, what about these people themselves? Well, Keir Starmer has just, his own Labour Party candidate, he withdrew funding because he said something that he didn't like him saying, but he didn't actually break the law. He wasn't prosecuted. He didn't break the law. Well, he hasn't been arrested as far as I know. They just didn't like it. Is the Prime Minister and Keir Starmer now shaping a society where we don't act and behave on what the law says anymore? We act and behave on what Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer believe is right conduct and behaviour. That's beyond law. We're not their employees, but they're treating us as if we are their employees. Employees don't have a right to vote on anything the company does. Employees have employment rights, and that's it. And health and safety, medical rights. Employees don't vote on what the company does, even though they are the ones who make everything that the company... The employees are the ones who do the work. If there was no employees, then the company wouldn't be able to make anything, right? But the company, the employees don't have any rights or say in what the direction of the company is, or investments, or what products they should and shouldn't make, or what the policy should be. None. But if you end up buying shares in the company and become a part owner, and you might not even do any work, you might just sit at home and turn up at AGM meetings and invest. Put money into it, but where did you get your money from? You definitely wouldn't have got that much money if you were working for them, because they don't pay that much when you're paying your bills, right? That means you are voting on what a company should or shouldn't do on decisions, and possibly even policy decisions, but you don't do any work at the company and you haven't made all the things. For human beings, that is devaluing a human being. Particularly one who's done all the work. And George Galloway could not possibly disagree with this in his right mind. George Galloway could not possibly disagree with this in his right mind. This is why that he said that he despises Rishi Sunak the other day. Now, what you get when you start controlling people's behaviour in work and out of work, and they're under suspicion of crime all the time, 24 hours a day, and they don't even have a vote in the company, you can replace them in the company, so you don't even need them to do any work. And if they're not doing any work, they're not going to get any money. So what are they going to invest in the company with to get hold of shares to vote on what the decisions are? They're not, are they? And if they try to protest about it, apparently now, less and less protesting rights. So, they're accused of more and more criminality. At what point can they vote on anything? Now, the only thing that the petitions committee is completely blocked up, a clogged toilet, unless you're getting tampon tax changed, the tampon tax adjusted, if it suits Theresa May and Priti Patel, and Paula Sheriff or whatever. So what we're left with is people who are the only thing, once the workforce is replaced, and these people have their own pals and friends who are all under this certain conduct and behaviour, which is frankly not human. There's going to be no caricature left. When everyone is some sort of Starship Enterprise, Patrick Stewart, number 1, number 2, number 3, and there are only 2 different types of clothing that you can choose from, and there are only a certain language acceptable to use, there is little to no caricature left. Not even Chinese or Punjabi. So, let alone all the caricature varieties that are in the English repertoire. So, you're left with very little. Now, I just don't like it. Bill Gates might like it. Jeff Bezos might like it if he can get his hair grown back and live forever, and then, you know, have robots serving him for eternity, and then, you know, even if he can regenerate his cells or replace himself completely with metal, depending on what the temperature demands, if he happens to be orbiting Saturn or the Sun, he might decide to choose a special body that is made out of non-organic material. If he goes to Venus or creates another planet Earth, then he might choose to, you know, transform his body back to organic material. He can do what he wants, because then he will be supreme being, eternal master of the universe. But at the moment, we're not there yet, and I don't see any rush or hurry for that. Even if you did create Genesis, like on Star Trek, and create a new planet from brand new, and it had to go through a birth process, you know, just to create another Earth to move to, what are you going to do there? You know, what would you find fun if you had completely transformed your body into metal? For example, or, you know, what, you know, I mean, is he in a perpetual state of pleasure or bliss like the Buddha? Some kind of, you know, perpetual. I mean, I once saw a picture of one guy who was perpetual on the drip of some sort of drug, you know. I'm not sure what they're aiming for. If it's just tech for the sake of tech, what you end up is with these master scientists who can just literally change matter by thought. I mean, at what point does, you know, do the scientists, you know, like Dr. Brian Cox, once he has made his, you know, once he's like, you know, the T2000 and his body is the tools, so he can just make his hand transform into a microscope or into a blender or into a tree, even organic, you know, or once his body is God, once the scientists completely understand and the knowledge comes instantaneously like a supercomputer, they know everything, and his hands can become anything, the hand of God, you know, it can become a you know, zoom telescope, or even his head, and he can transform it at will, even by pure thought. What else is there to pursue then? At the moment, I don't see what the rush is for Bill, Rishi, Jeff to get there while everyone else here is suffering a existence of human organic matter. Why should we suffer because they want to collect more money? Why should we? Why should we suffer? Because of their mismanagement, because they want everything order to their order, not what we think's order, by the way. It's all about what they think's order, not what we think's order, or what their investors think order. You know, we've advanced so quickly compared to the previous advancements, the acceleration. I don't think that there is any hurry or rush. You know, there isn't any hurry or rush at all. And they're making everyone think there is, like there's a rush, you know, to fill the supermarket trolley up. We need to get these people under control. They're not fit for management. They really aren't fit for management at all in anything. And you know, what they're doing is they're trying to accustomize it, that everyone's accustomed to the way they want it to go. Everyone should be filmed at all times, and that's perfectly normal. They should be perfectly comfortable with it. But when you're being filmed and you don't know who's filming you and who knows what they're doing is I've experienced this. It's just like this guy now. These companies, they don't want do anything. They don't want to answer anything. They can terminate anything for any reason or no reason. No one would agree to these rules or laws. And everything that is done is accept, consent, accept. It's about time that they start accepting and consenting. It's about time, and particularly when it's already the law and already our rights. when it's already the law and already our rights, you know, they're not... the Petitions Committee, to start, is the place to get these resolved. And they're obstructing it. And they're conning people into how significant... The things that we need to be focusing on to solve the problems, they've got everyone in some kind of running around like headless chickens, basically, like Extinction Rebellion, Stop ULEZ. They're being completely conned and cheated at the moment, and they're causing a lot of trouble and havoc. But it is Rishi's fault. It's the Prime Minister's fault because they don't want... There are certain laws in effect that they don't want us to use or be allowed to use when we can. And that's the law. And they're obstructing it. And what's happening is it's causing chaos. So they are actually criminal. I mean, I don't really know how else you can say it. You could explain it in detail upon detail upon detail upon detail. But everyone has always said it. You know, the politicians are criminals. There's one, saying that, these people are thieves, they're stealing from us. The only thing what is ever been worth doing in politics, and this should have been done a very long time ago, a very, very, very long time ago, and people have always said it. These people are stealing from us. It's theft, and it's consensual theft, but only because they bluff and blag and are charlatans. Really, why would we consent? Why would you consent to theft? You wouldn't. So why consent to them stealing? And you're not making any profits when you go to work. When you go to work, you're getting compensated for your time and what you did. If you've got a skill that's useful to these people, like, a degree in biology, you're worth more. So you get paid more, you're compensated more, but you don't make a profit out of it. Your skill is compensated for. These people actually make a profit on top of it. But yet, all these things are meant to be existing for the good of mankind, but they're not existing for the good of mankind, because that means that it's all about the service provided. And now it's not. It's about these people making profits and using that to... The private enterprise is now governing through financial powers.